I got the engine upside down, ready to remove the oil pan. Curious to see what it looks like in there. Got all the bolts out of the oil pan. I'm going to be replacing those with Allen head stainless steel ones. Let's pull this thing off. Ooh, yuck. Look at that. Looks like bearing. See copper. Wow. Check this out. That explains where all that material came from. Wow. Let's see what it looks like inside of this. Oh, wow. No bearing left. Let's just crank. Yikes. Here's a look at the piston. Took a lot of beating, a lot of abuse, a lot of heat. I got all of the pistons and connecting rods out of the engine. Luckily, I have an extra 7-bolt crank sitting underneath my toolbox. Here's piston 1. You can see the wear on the bearing, the copper. Here's 2, a bad one. No bearing left. Not round. It's like oval. Here's number 3. It's got bearing wear. And here's number 4. It's got wear. Still tight. The wrist pin's tight. Next, I'm pulling off this front case. Bolts are out of the front case. So let's pull this thing off, or try to with one hand. There's the balance shafts. Come on, baby. There she is. Cleaned up the front case a bit. Took out the balance shafts. The oil pump's very tight though. I'm curious to see what it looks like in here. This Phillips can be a pain in the ass to remove. I used an impact screwdriver to get it loose. So I managed to break this loose. Let's pull it off and see what it looks like. Huh. I was expecting more metal in there. Next is the crank. I'll be breaking all these bolts loose to remove the main cap. Prior to that, I removed this rear main seal and the cap. This guy right here. I got the bolts out of the main girdle and I got it broke loose. I used a dead blow to get it broke loose. So now I'm gonna manage to get this out in one hand. There's all the bearings right here. Wore out. They all got wear. Here's the journal where rod bearing number 2 gave out. All discolored and beat up. The guy told me he kept driving when it spun. So that's why the connecting rod looks like that. He said he was trying to make it home, but he didn't make it home. I would try to pull this out with one hand, but I think I'd rather set the camera down and use 2 hands. The crank is removed, sitting right there with the rest of the mess. This one has a split thrust washer main bearing here. You can see, come on, this thing comes off. This thing needs some deep cleaning. Cylinder walls seem to be okay. I'll be taking it to the machine shop here soon. Get it hot tank decked, honed. But this is where I'm stopping today. And hopefully the next video is the assembly of this thing. There's the Talon.